At DC Fitness Physio, we use the Align reformers with their rapid change gear bar. So let's come on down and we'll go through the anatomy of a reformer. So first of all, I know when coming to a reformer class for the first time it can be quite daunting for people. So it's nice just to kind of get yourself familiarised with the different parts. So we'll start off with our foot bar. So as the name would suggest, feet will be on this bar, but in other positions we might be using our arms. So at the moment the foot bar is down in its lowest position. We can bring it all the way up. So we just simply bring it up. We can click it up all the way up to its highest position. And then if we want to disengage, bring it down, we just gently pull it back, and at the side we can slide it all the way down. So that's our foot bar. Then we're going to come into our platform extender. So this is easily removed on and off. So sometimes it will be used when standing up on the machine, but then we also need to know how just to take it off so that we can access our gear bar. So the gear bar is what the springs are attached to. So you'll notice that there's single green, which is the strongest spring. We've got two reds, which are the medium springs, and we've got two blues, which are the lightest springs. So the gear bar does remind you, so always attach at least one spring when moving the gear bar. So the gear bar will be based off of height for if we're doing footwork, or depending on if we're pulling straps, we might need to bring it back into the first or second position. So when moving the gear bar, always have a spring on. So we can move it forwards into our first position, into our second position, third position, and into our fourth position. When disengaging the springs, just give a little pull. Doesn't have to be too hard. And then we have the freedom of the carriage moving up and down. Likewise, get that carriage all the way into that gear bar, and we can start putting our springs back on one at a time. So that's gear bars, springs. So let's move a little bit further up the machine now. Let's come onto our carriage. So the carriage is the part that we could be lying on, kneeling on, and we've got our shoulder rests here. Nothing needs to be reconfigured with this. So the shoulder rests as they are. Then we're coming down onto our head pad. So you'll notice currently it's in its flattest and its lowest position. So depending on posture, your instructor will help guide you to choose what is the best for your posture. So we can actually bring it up. There's just a little wooden part at the back. So just make sure you're not too aggressive pulling upwards. Just a little lift, flick in that wooden part, and we're going to have our head pad nice and upright. Now we come to our straps. So we can be using those for footwork, with our arm work, and generally the position we'd be looking for is gear bar 2 or 1, but don't worry, instructor will always help guide you in the class. So I'm just going to get the appropriate tension back into those. I'm going to slide it into gear bar 2 position so that we have the appropriate tension back into our straps. And a really cool feature with the C8 Pro reformer, which will really help the class just for uniformity, because I know a lot of people sometimes go to different classes and they give out about how the straps are always different lengths. However, there is a rapid change system here and it can be really done quickly. So your instructor can help you, or the more you get used to the machine, you can be able to change the strap length yourself. So come on down, I'm going to quickly show you how to do this one. But if you're ever in doubt, always ask your instructor. They're always there to help. So for us, we always get the large loop around our peg. We come into our gear bar 1 position. And let's just say hypothetically the straps are off. So one is quite longer than the other. So as you can see here, the one closest to the camera here is definitely much longer and we're shorter. So just to sort this issue out, we put our gear bar into 1. We'll pop our large straps around the pegs. And then we have these 2 long straps here. There's a little lever here. We're going to lift up one, which is going to move this part. I'm just going to give it a pull until we feel that tension back here. Now we know this one is already correct, but we can lift up that lever, give a little pull, and we know that they're both set correctly. And you can pick them off the peg and you can check to make sure they're lining up, which they are. So really simple fix. So that's the great thing, because I know in a lot of studios that can be such an issue that people are like constantly giving out about straps, but there's such a simple fix here within our studio. So if you're unsure, if they turn up, they're not equal length, just let the instructor know, and it's a really quick and easy fix.